What's up YouTube? It's Mike aka Plastic Life, and today I'm taking a look at the new Final Fantasy VII Cloud Strife from Bring Arts. When I first saw the promo images for this figure, I got really excited because I thought we would finally have a good 1/12 scale Cloud figure, but was it worth the 155 Canadian dollars that I paid for it? Let's get it off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, so let's get a few things out of the way. First, this figure is based off the artwork from the 1997 Sony PlayStation version of Cloud Strife, and not the Final Fantasy VII Remake version for PlayStation 4 and 5. Second, this figure barely stands about 5 3/4 inches tall, so it scales more with the smaller figures like Figma, and not so much like typical 1/12 scale figures such as Marvel Legends. With that being said, this Cloud Strife looks pretty good, to be honest. I like how they have included some shading in the pants, in the shirts, and some variations in color in the gauntlets and the hands and so on. The face sculpt came out pretty nice. You can see that the eyes are put on with decals, so they're extremely shiny. The hair came out pretty nice. Very spiky, like how it looked like in the video game. They also managed to add a little bit of detail by painting in his little earring there, or actually sculpting in the little earring there. That's actually really cool. The shoulder pad looks really good. There's some sculpted damage in there, and the bolts came out really nice with some rivets in the back as well there. The gauntlet looks really nice too. It's painted with a nice metal paint, and I think there's a little bit of there's a nice like little wash in there as well to help bring out some of that color. Underneath the gauntlet, he's got his little wraps there, and I mean, they could have been painted a little bit better, but you know, they're pretty nice. They did a really good job sculpting the clothing on Cloud. He's got really nice wrinkles all throughout his clothing, in his chest area on the sweater and the turtleneck, as well as the nice long baggy pants. And there's some shading all throughout those wrinkles to bring them out. Taking a closer look at the belt and the suspenders, nice sculpted in detail there, as well as the back. And some big boots, just like how we remember Cloud. The nice sculpted zippers in there, and on the bottom, they sculpted some treads, which is always appreciated when companies go out of their way. So aesthetically speaking, Cloud looks really nice. He comes with a few accessories, so let's take a look at those. Cloud comes with his Buster Sword, his signature weapon, and this thing came out really good. There's some battle damage all over it, some cracks and so on. I like how there's dual tones here to show the sharpness of the sword here. There is no materia in the materia slots. Nice rivets on the handles there, and the handle is nice and long, just how we remember it. Cloud comes with 3 interchangeable hands. We have the hands that are on the figure already, which is just a closed fist. We have a set of open palms, and we have a set of closed grip hands to hold the Buster Sword with. For the hands that you're not using, you can just put them right on top of this little tree that it comes with. He comes with a very tiny double peg to help peg the Buster Sword into his back. To get this peg on, you're just going to remove the plug that's in his back here. Like, oh my god, this thing is like, how the hell do you get this thing off? Oh my goodness, okay. So you really got to just kind of get a really good grip on it, using whatever fingernails I had left, and just pluck that out. So when you finally manage to remove the plug, take the double-sided peg, port it in, grab the Buster Sword, and port it into one of the materia slots, like so. And then you have Cloud equipped with his Buster Sword on his back. I think that looks good. Swapping out the hands is really easy. Just grab a hold of the hand and pull, revealing a peg, and then you just add the other hand like so. Push that in, make sure you line it up properly, and there you go. Cloud comes with a multi-joint display stand with 2 different connection pieces. A lot of times characters that have really big weapons do have a hard time in figure form holding on to those weapons. With this Cloud, I find he's very balanced. He's able to keep the sword away from him while still standing up. There are certain parts of the articulation where if you move it a certain way, gravity will just eventually pull that sword down due to the weight of it. So you'll have to just kind of position the shoulder close to the body, and he'll be able to kind of hold that sword upwards. Unfortunately, Cloud does not come with a head sculpt or a faceplate, so we're basically stuck with this neutral head sculpt. This is my first figure from the Bring Arts line, and I've never tested the articulation, so if I miss something, let me know in the comments. Cloud can look up about this much because his hairpiece is in the way. He can look down quite a bit. He can turn his head left and right, no problem, and he can move his head side to side. The neck doesn't move at all, it's just fixed in position. Looks very similar to the Figma technology where there's a ball peg on a little swivel joint and a peg that just ports right into the neck. Cloud's arm can go all the way around, and it can come up about that high. We don't have a bicep swivel. We do have a single jointed elbow, but the way that it's cut functions almost like a double joint. And then we have rotation just at the elbow. The wrist is on a hinge that can move up and down, and if you turn it the other way, it can move in and out. The shoulder pad is on a ball peg and a hinge, and it allows for movement up and down, and it allows for a little bit of rotation as well. Cloud can flex forward about that much, and back about that much. There is some rotation in the upper chest, but it's very, very stiff. And there is some, I can't really rotate the waist joint, and I do kind of feel like it's going to snap. The belt is a floaty belt, and the crotch piece is also floaty as well. There appears to be a difference in the wrist pegs. This one is very narrow, and that one is much more rounded. I'm not sure what that is. I tried pushing it in more, but it's not working, so I think that might just be a design issue there, or just how they wanted to design the gauntlet and the gloves there. Cloud can kick up. What in the bloody hell? Okay, well, I guess Cloud just comes apart. Yep, fantastic. Okay, I guess with the legs off, we can take a closer look at this. So we have a ball peg that goes right up into the waist joint there, and then we have these ball pegs for the legs that move up and down, so they can create a little bit of clearance for when you go to lift the leg up. Let me try that again. Okay, so I reassembled it. The figure is not broken. I prefer my figure's joints and stuff to pop off than to actually break, so I'm okay with that. You can pull down a little bit to create a little bit of clearance for the leg to come up, and you're going to get about that much range with the leg. There is a rotation at the thigh, but it's just going to, oh my goodness, this thing is, so there's rotation up at the upper thigh, like so. You can turn that, and you have a single jointed knee, but you get a lot of range from that single jointed knee. You have ankle that goes up and down, and it turns left and right, and then you can also pivot the ankle inwards and outwards like so. Kind of feel like the more that I play with this thing, the less I like it, just because of, it might just be a QC issue where my joints are popping off, but if you have this figure, let me know in the comments section on whether or not you're experiencing the same issues. This could all just be on me though. Like I said, this is my first Bring Arts figure, so I guess I'm not really used to how these things move. But, you know, I expect a little bit better for a figure that is around $150 Canadian. You just have to be very careful with the top triangular piece here. You want to make sure that you get it tucked underneath the crotch piece there. Otherwise, you're just going to pop the thigh joints off again. But for size comparisons, I don't have any other Final Fantasy characters, but assuming people are going to buy this to add it to their Super Smash Bros. Displays, here he is next to the Figma Solid Snake and the Figma Link. Next to an SH Figuarts Ryu. and a typical 1/12 scale figure, the Marvel Legends Black Suit Spider-Man. Okay, so my final thoughts on this figure. I really do like the aesthetic of this figure. I think it's a great likeness to Cloud. Cloud is one of my favorite characters from my childhood, but unfortunately I'm just not having fun with this figure. I thought I would like this figure a lot more than I did, but it just might just be mine. The ease that this thing is just falling apart, it's just not fun for me. You know, every time I go to pose him up, something's just, these hips just, I don't know. I'm really not happy with it. Yeah. Now, you might have a better time with this figure than I did. Maybe, you know, your joints are not as bad as mine, or maybe you were just waiting for this figure for a very long time and you got it and you're just really happy with it. In my opinion, for the price of 155 Canadian dollars that I ended up paying for this thing after shipping and conversion, I really just don't think that this Cloud is worth it. But, you know, everybody has their own opinion. So let me know in the comments on what you think of this figure. If you found this review helpful, hit that thumbs up and subscribe buttons. Leave a comment below on whether or not you're picking up this figure. Head on over to plastic.life on Instagram for more action figure pics. Always remember, at the end of the day, it's your collection. Buy whatever makes you happy. I hope you catch my next videos. Take care.